Hey guys, so I wanted to come on here, and I know it's about a little later than usual. It's about 3:21 right now, Pacific time. I was up earlier, then I went back to bed and just relaxed because it's been busy over the past 2 days that I've been back at work. Probably more so than it's been in a while, and I've only had to work about 4.5 hours each day. So going a little over it, at sometimes by at least 5 to 10 minutes, which I don't mind. But still, it's been basically very busy because it's back to school, teachers are getting themselves ready, parents are getting their kids ready, you name it. Anyway, I wanted to come on here though because I wanted to talk about something concerning my old employee, my previous employer, that being Walmart. You see, there's one thing I've noticed when I was at Walmart, and I saw it recently or currently right now with my new job here at Target, is a lot of stores, Walmart, Target, Kohl's, Macy's, you name it, they're all evolving. And what I mean by evolving is the fact that they are changing, up how they are. They're changing, who they are, if you will, as I put this, so it might be a little quick at the camera, guys, so I do apologize. But they are, like I said, they're not, well, I'll put it this way, they're not changing completely who they are, but they're changing them who they are, like on the inside of the stores and all that, how things are operated, how things are organized, all that jazz. So, an evolution of a retail store of any kind, especially in today's day and age, it's nothing new. It's nothing really new. And again, this is something I noticed when I worked at, when I worked at Walmart, like in my second to almost third year. That's when they decided, hey, we're going to take out, because we used to have like 14 registers, right? I think 14, 18 registers, I believe. So they decided, actually it was 14, I believe, 14 to 16, I can't remember. But basically they decided that for the benefit of the customer, because this obviously was a corporate move to say, hey customers, we hear you. You want empowerment? We're going to give you empowerment. And basically what happened, is they decided to make the decision, not just at the Walmart I was working at, but at all Walmarts. Because you got to remember, the Walmart I was working at when I started there was just barely a year old. I started literally a year and a month, 13 months after it opened. And this was about 2 years almost after it opened that they made this decision. About a year to 2 years after it opened, they decided to make the decision to get rid of the other registers, the other cashier registers of, I think, what was it? I think it was 12 to 14 or 12 to 16. They decided to get rid of them and instead put new self-checkout registers over there, and basically take the self-checkout over on the grocery side, expand on that. Because it was all part of I guess you could say, a campaign to empower the customer of, hey, we want to give you back the power, to do your own checkouts and everything, to check out your own items, to make sure you're not missing any items, or we miss any items for you when we're checking you out as cashiers. So, that decision obviously was made all across the board. Now, were some customers cool with it? Oh, absolutely. Some customers were cool with it, because they're like, oh, cool, we get back, not get back, but it's like, oh, cool, so we can check out our stuff and have nothing to worry about, when it comes to, like, not getting all our items. Which is cool. Which is really cool in a lot of people's minds, at that time, and even currently. It's like, hey, we don't have to, worry, about, we don't have to worry about someone, let's say, double checking our items. In other words, scanning our items twice. We can make sure it's scanned just once, and that's it. Well, even though that sounds, all promising and everything to a lot of folks, there's a lot more folks, believe it or not, that don't find it very, very good, or don't find, I guess you could say, the positive in it, if you will. They don't find the positive in it, and they, even to this day, are going to come out and say, look, you're taking away people's jobs. You're taking away the reason for even being hired. And I'll agree, they do have a point. All right, I do agree. They do have a point that this is taken away from people's opportunity to even apply for work. I get that. I understand that. But here's the thing about retail jobs. Either the Walmart, Target, Kohl's, Macy's, whatever. Believe it or not, they too understand this. They too understand this, which is why they train all these associates, all these attendees, employees, whatever you call them or whatever they're called at these companies. This is why they train them in other areas. This is why at Target, people are trained to do fulfillment. People are trained to do drive up. People are trained to do customer service. They're trained to do all these items or all these areas because they know, the company that is, they know, that they're evolving. That they're evolving the company. The people in charge at the stores, and like I said, the company itself, the regions of the company too, realize that they are evolving. And if they're going to keep people under the radar, under their employment, that they need to train them, in different areas. They need to train them in different areas of work, which most times will work out for them because, hey, they keep the person there, and hey, the person's got an opportunity to do something that they might enjoy more so than the job the position they were hired for. So it's all about evolution. It's all about evolving. And look, I understand how people are. I really do. I mean, I go back to what I mentioned, I think, what was it, about a month ago or so? I go back to what I mentioned a month ago or so. One of the girls who I just saw for the first time in a while yesterday, I guess she was on vacation or something, or the schedules, our schedules didn't really, work out together to where we would see each other. But she's a young girl. She's like a little young. I would say maybe several, if not maybe almost a decade older than my third oldest nephew, maybe. But then looks can be deceiving. You never know. Anyway, I've mentioned this before. She was basically put in charge temporarily because the other girl, the head lead girl, was on break, I think. So this girl, who, like I said, is maybe several years older, almost a decade older than my third oldest nephew. This girl is put in charge of watching self-checkout because, if a customer needs help, you can, use your code and everything, your team member number and your password, your passcode to help them out and such, right? I mean, I couldn't do that at first, but now I can. But the point that I'm getting at is we had this older customer, and he was older than my mom. I'll put it this way: my mom's in her early 70s. She's going to be 73 next month. So, yeah, she's 30 years older than me, believe it or not. But anyway, this guy that was obviously older than her, probably in his 80s, maybe I wouldn't say mid 80s, but early 80s, if you will, early to mid 80s, maybe. He's trying self-checkout for the first time. Well, I would assume it's the first time. I'm not really sure. But as he's checking it out, he looks up and he sees this screen. He sees the screen, because I'm sure if you've gone to a Target or Walmart, you've seen the self-checkouts with a screen with a little monitor, right? And then on the monitor is a little camera. Right? Hold on. Let me buy. I was like, right? I told you I'm still waking up a little bit. Let me get some coffee. What I meant to say, and let me rewind. Okay. What I meant to say is, when you go there, you see the little monitor at the top, right? and you see the little camera in the middle of that monitor, right? Well, the older guy sees this and he asks, "What is that?" And and the girl tries to explain what it is. And then he asks, "Well, what's that in the middle?" Right? So he's asking what the monitor is for. Why there's a TV screen, I think as he called it, and then there's like a little camera in the middle. He's asking, what is this all about? And the girl tries to explain to him what it is, and he basically says, "Well, I don't like seeing myself on camera. I don't like that." So you know what he does? And again, I mentioned this before when I talked about it originally. You know what he does? I swear, this is what he does. So he takes, hold on, let me see if I can get an example here. Okay. Anyway, this is what he does. So he takes a bag like this. He takes one of the Target bags, reaches down where they are, right? And thinks, that's exactly what he does. I'm trying to remember. So he reaches down, grabs one of the loose Target bags, because when customers, use the self-checkout, sometimes they don't always put the bags back after they've used them, so there's some loose ones, right? So he grabs the loose bag and literally does this. He takes it and puts it over the camera, over the monitor. And the girl's like, "So, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that." And he's not listening. So she has to get AP over there. I'm not joking. She has to get AP over there. Like I was saying, she has to get AP to come over there, or she tells AP what's going on. So obviously that's an example right there of people in the mid 70s to maybe mid 80s, basically that age range, maybe even early 90s. And I say it with all due respect, because there are people in that age range that do understand technology. They do understand, "Oh, this is what needs to be done. Oh, I see where you're coming from about this monitor and the camera. Cool." There are people in the mid to, in that age range of the mid 70s to mid 80s to early 90s that do get a grasp of it. My mom has a grasp for it. She understands that. She understands everything. I mean, even though she still has things to learn about and she needs my help on, or my sister's help on, my sister's help on, or even my nephew's help on, at least she's more understanding. She gets why this is all happening, right? Well, this older guy, like I said, didn't like the idea of himself being seen on camera. And what's funny is it was at a time where it was getting warmer. It wasn't summer yet, but it was getting warmer. And he was wearing a hat and a jacket. And it's like, it's not that cold yet, man. But again, the older you get, apparently, as my mom has demonstrated, the more thinner your skin gets, that's the more colder you get, especially even if it doesn't feel that way to a lot of other people. And again, I say that with all due respect and love. But the thing I'm getting at, though, is he didn't like that. So, like I said, the girl had to inform AP. Anyway, the reason I bring this all up is because recently, a lot of people in that age range, if not under that age range, believe it or not, well, basically people that have different beliefs as well, they are not fond of Walmart going all self-checkout. They're not. Now, there are some that are cool with it, and they're fine with it, like I mentioned earlier. They're cool, they're fine with it, no problem. They have no issue with it whatsoever. Whatsoever. The issue that they have, though, is Walmart being hypocritical. Because of the fact that even though Walmart's basically saying, "We're giving you back the control, we're giving you back power," there's still somebody that's at the exit of grocery or pharmacy, near the self-checkouts. There's still somebody there at the self-checkout watching if you need help. But there's also somebody at the exits after you're done asking you to check. Basically, they're asking you to see your receipt. They're asking you for this. And that's what's upsetting a lot of people. It's like, well, wait a minute. You said you're giving us back power. You're giving us back control. You're trusting us. And yet, you're having people at the exits telling us or asking us for our receipts so they could check. You know, how hypocritical does that sound? Now, originally when I started at Target, yeah, we had the same thing. And that was at the tail end of the COVID where we still had to wear our mask. You know, until that was finally lifted. But yeah, we had the same thing. But then over time, they eliminated that. They eliminated the usage unless, you know, it gets really busy and it's needed. They pretty much eliminated the usage for someone wiping down the carts and all that. They changed things around because basically, you know, the corporation obviously heard the complaints, and the regional portions of the company heard the complaints from customers of not liking the registers, not liking the registered, but the receipts checked when they, you know, should be trusted that they got everything. And as far as the, you know, the cart cleaning goes, you know, the thing is, as soon as the mask came off, that pretty much eliminated the notion to clean off the carts, because now all the customer has to do, like me and my mom do, like if we go over here to Nob Hill, all the customer has to do is just get like a sanitized wipe from the area where you can, you know, well, in the area, basically the little bin where they supply them. All you have to do is get a sanitized wipe, you know, and clean off the thing. And if you're wondering why they did that anyway, why they had somebody cleaning the carts, even though customers could do it themselves, is they were cleaning the carts that customers were done with, so that when customers would come in and everything, you know, they would have a clean cart. You know, that even if they would wipe it down themselves again, they would have a clean cart. They wouldn't have to worry about it. But once the whole mask being removed was eliminated, they didn't have to worry about that at all. Or worry about having that around, unless it gets really, really busy, like it has on a couple of occasions now that it's back to school. But the thing is, the big difference is Target, in a way, is listening to the customers. Because even recently, they eliminated 4 registers. That's right, they eliminated 4 registers, and now it's just registers 1 to 10. But the difference is self-checkout is still there as it always was. There's no change there. You know, there's no change there. You know, basically it's still the same way it always has been. The only thing that's happened is they've updated the system. Like any computer will update, they've updated the system. And that's it. That is pretty much it. Nothing else. So the difference is Target, even though some people would say they're a little bit more or about even in price when it comes to Walmart, you know, at least they'll list the big difference, and why people prefer Target over Walmart is because they're listening to the customers. They're not being hypocrites or anything towards the customers. I mean, even those that I've talked to that used to work with me at Walmart, like I talked to Joy, who was there with me at Walmart for a couple of years before she was let go. She's even agreed that it's gone downhill. People that still work there agree that it's going downhill because of the fact that it's being more hypocritical than it is. That if it's about the people, then you need to trust the people. And that's why recently today, I saw an article on the Patterson Neighborhood Watch Facebook page, and this article basically stated that how do I put this? This article basically stated from I don't know if it was for the Walmart here in Patterson or another Walmart somewhere, but basically somebody had said, you know, plain and simply, and I'll try to provide that article as a thumbnail and maybe even in the description by a link. But that person basically stated that Walmart, you know, in simpler ways, is being hypocritical. Because it's like, what's the point of having self-checkout if you're still going to have somebody somebody check your receipts. That doesn't seem right. That seems a little, ass backwards, hypocritical, whatever. Because the person that put this article, and like I said, it was an article that was shared on the Patterson Neighborhood Watch. He didn't like the idea that people were being checked for receipts after coming out of self-checkout, when it's supposed to be self-checkout, and you're supposed to basically say, "Hey, we trust you." So what did this guy do? So he checks out from what he says, not liking what he's seen, not liking what he's seen and all that. So just as an act of defiance and a way to send a message of, hey, I don't need to show you anything because you need to trust me, like you say you're going to do. What does he do? After he's done doing self-checkout, checking everything out, putting in his card or putting in his cash, getting his receipt, what does he do? He just pushes his card out like this, pushes his card out, and the person at the door is like, sir, basically saying, I need to look at your receipt, and all he does is this. Just waves it and leaves. Which, again, and not only is an act of defiance, but it's a message being sent of, hey, you put these things here because you say you trust us, then you know what? You need to trust us. You don't need to be hypocrites about what you do. That's basically it. That's basically what it was. It was sending a message of, hey, you trust us and everything. Oh, you said you were going to trust us, you were going to empower us when you put these in here, and yet you're doing the exact opposite. And that's why people do what they do. Not just this guy, but other people. That's why they do what they do. Because they're like, look, you're going to trust us? Then trust us. If you're not, then guess what you need to do? And this is what he said at the end of the article. If you don't trust us, if you're going to constantly have people be at the doors checking out receipts, being hypocrites, if you will, guess what you need to do? Put people back at cashiers. Put back more regular registers, and we won't have to deal with this. So this won't be a problem. That was the message being sent. Not only him walking out, doing this and all that, which I'm sure a lot of you have done, no offense, but he's also just sending a message not just in that statement on Facebook, but sending a defiant message of, hey, you are either going to trust us or you're going to go back to the way things were so that we don't have to deal with this. And that's about it. That is about it. That's all. That's all that was said on the message. Basically, plain and simple, that's what he kind of said. And look, I don't blame anybody. Honestly, I don't blame anybody for feeling that way. Because I've worked for Walmart. I saw it evolve. I saw it become what it is. With the self-checkouts being added on to the other one. I understand where people are coming from. I get it. I mean, people don't like the idea. People don't like the idea of, certain things being locked up at Walmart. They don't like it. They don't like the idea. A good example is the makeup. It's locked up. You need to ring a little bell or a little button. You need to press a little button on a device, on the glass door where the makeup's sealed up, just to get somebody to come get it for you. And the same with other items. Now, thankfully, they've kind of scaled down, not much, but just a tiny bit on that, because I'm sure they've heard people complain. And, not just to the stores, but to the corporation, the regional offices. So I'm sure, so it looks like they have scaled back down a little bit, not much. But like I said, basically people are not fond of that. They're not fond of that whatsoever. And again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier, why people prefer places like Target over Walmart. Because Target, believe it or not, in this whole rearrangement we have at my job, this whole remodeling, they're making it more accessible. Yeah, making it easier and accessible to get your items. Yeah, it takes time to figure out, okay, what the items are now, but they're out there to be more accessible for you to find and easier for you to find every time you come back. Walmart basically is not that way. And like I said, I was there when they started doing this. I was there when they started to put all these things behind glass cases. And the reason being is because what's been happening. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that certain retailers, I don't know if it's the same with Target, but certain retailers, depending on where they're located, they end up doing this because of the basic crime rate. Because of the fact that people, young people by the way, go in there and think, oh, nobody's looking. Whoop. You know, that's what they do. That's a young person's mindset. Oh, it's loose. That's it. That's their mindset. Because they think because they feel and believe they can get away with it. But they don't understand that nowadays people are getting more trained, security's getting more trained, the managers and even the employees are getting more trained on the suspicion on how people are acting. This is why every time AP at my store sees somebody wearing a backpack, with sunglasses, maybe even a mask over their face and whatever, just walking around suspiciously, this is why they say, hey, keep an eye on this guy. This guy's this. This guy's this. So keep an eye on this girl. This girl's this. This girl looks like that. Because of the fact that they're trained to notice things. They're trained to figure things out. A good example of this working but still being a work in progress, and I've talked about this before, one of the assistant managers saw a customer walking up, had an item in his hand and something like that, and she says, sir, you can check out here. She was pointing at my register, right? So what does the guy do? As soon as she says that, this is what he does. Runs. Literally, he has, I don't know what kind of an item he had, but obviously it cost some money. This is what he does. He runs. He runs literally for the door and runs right out. Now, I'm sure they called police, they reported, maybe even caught the guy, got the items back. But again, it is a work in progress, but it's more improved than what it was. This is why we have AP, positioned where they are. Not just, in front of the store, but all across the store in ways you wouldn't know. The thing is because, they want to trust their customers. The store, the corporation want to trust their customers. So the way they're trusting them basically is making sure that there are those pretty much undercover, and you never know who it is, walking around the store to make sure nothing suspicious is going on. And that's about it. That's the big improvement. Now, I'm not saying my old job never did something like that, had people walk around in disguise and all that. No. Because they did. But the thing is, they never had security that, wearing a uniform that said security on the back, standing in front of the store, watching everything. Never once. Never did they have security of any kind walking around outside patrolling the area. That is one thing that a lot of retailers should do, and if not are doing, because again, they want to show that not only are they keeping an eye out for suspicious activity, but they're also saying customers we are going to continuously trust you to do the right thing. That's what they're doing. And again, this goes back to people preferring Target over places like Walmart because of the fact that Target is doing things Walmart will not, or has yet to do. So if Walmart wants to get their customers back, wants to get business back on their side, they need to take a page out of the book of Target or the book of Macy's or whatever and be like, okay, we need to hire these security people, put them here, and okay, we need to unglass these items, put them to where people can just get them and buy for them that way. Okay, we need to stop having people at the exits asking for receipts and everything. We need to trust our customers. That's what they need to do. Now look, I'm not saying Walmart's all bad. It's a good business. It's one of the more successful businesses out there. I wouldn't have worked for them for 6.5 years. But the issue is But the issue that they have is they need to stop being hypocritical. They and any other place that's like this needs to be hypocritical. Costco is kind of like a Target, where I think they have things figured out, but there's still some hypocriticalness there. Same with Macy's. And I'm not saying my job isn't any innocent either, but still, there's a lot of things that still need to be worked out. It's a work in progress, is what it is. It is a work, in progress, and hopefully will be improved on over time. It'll be improved on over time so that there won't be any issues like this ever again. There won't be. And that's just my opinion. But yeah, I know this video went a lot longer than usual, and it was supposed to only mention and focus, I should say, on one thing. But that one thing does have to do with a lot of things I'm mentioning here. And again, customers, I will admit, shouldn't feel this way. They shouldn't feel like there's hypocriticalness in any retail store. So if I'm Walmart or any company like that wants to win back the trust of the customers, they need to trust them. They need to take the right measures to ensure that that trust is going to return. I mean, again, this is why people rather prefer, a place like Target over a place like Walmart, because at least there's trust. At least Walmart has, not Walmart, but Target has the security people, not just in front of the store with the uniforms that say security, but they have, and not just in front of the store, but also patrolling the outside. But they also have AP security wandering the store, but you just don't know who or where they are, if you know what I mean. And that's a good thing. Again, like I said, Walmart's done that too, but not the security part. Not the person wearing the security uniform part. They never had that done. And they need to go, and I think they've done it once and they need to go back to it. That's what they need to do. But on top of that, they need to trust the customer. If you have somebody at self-checkout, helping them out and seeing them check out all their items, then that should all be that's needed. You shouldn't have somebody at the register, at the door, just a few feet away, saying, "Hey, can I see the receipt?" Look, I understand one of the reasons they do that is because sometimes, the customer might miss an item and be like, "Oh, I forgot about that," and go back and, check it out. Either get somebody to check it out for them, or if a self-checkout's open, they do that. I get and understand that. But most time, customers are vigilant about it. They know what to do. They make sure that they have all their items accounted for. So if they want people to trust them again, they need to get away from that mentality. They need to get away from that thought process, if you know what I mean. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But again, it's just me. It's just me on that. However, I just wanted to come on here and, like I said, bring this up, talk about it, because again, I see this article on Facebook, and I'm like, really? This is getting ridiculous. This is getting totally ridiculous, and something needs to be done. Something needs to be fixed so that we won't have these many complaints ever again, no matter what retail store you shop at, whether it's Walmart, Target, Kohl's, Macy's, you name it. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Comment down below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, super chat, super stickers are open and would be appreciated. Super thanks after the video's premiere. Also check me out at BW Roses Discussions at all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. I got a lot of new podcasts up there. My most recent one, just went up to about 6 already. That was a quicker. So check that out. Also check me out at VENMO at BW Roses for content you can't get anywhere else except there. Also, check me out at deviantart.com, so that's BVW1979. Check me out at fanfiction.net at _brian.walmart.1, that's numeral 1. Also, check me out at TikTok at BW Roses. Also, check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmart-2 to help support the channel there, as well as at Cash App at BW Roses.